It's April 5th, 2020, and welcome to episode 32 of the Baby Metal Podcast. We gather in the podcast Discord server on alternate weeks to discuss news and thoughts on the past and future projects of Baby Metal. We invite you to join us, whether you're a longtime fan or have only just arrived. I am Paul, and I am joined by Kevin.
Hello.
And Garrett.
Hello.
Hello. So this is probably going to be a slightly short episode because it is the one that happened right after Fox Day. And as you will soon hear, there wasn't very much announced on Fox Day. So, but there still is other recent news. So we can maybe talk about some of these things as well. I would say probably top among the recent news is that the sets, the one sets, Baby Metal Awakens, The Sun Also Rises, and Baby Metal Rises, Legend M, Beyond the Moon, have shipped, and many people have received them already, including 2/3 of us here in the podcast.
Yes. And tragically, some have not, and some are stuck in places throughout the world, and that is tragic.
Yeah, so not everybody who has bought it has got it yet, but, and, you know, I don't think we need to, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly to what extent we would need to review it anyway. And if you really are feeling spoiler averse, it's conceivable that you should listen to this just a little bit later. But as I said, like most of this stuff, Kevin, you were at the thing. I
was.
So, and we
no spoilers. No spoilers for me.
I mean, the only kinds of spoilers there might be are things about the art and the photo book and, you know, sort of the camera work within the stuff that we did not see in the WoW broadcast of The Sun Also Rises or the DVD, you know, whatever that was called, digest of Legend M.
Right.
So, I myself have not actually watched either one all the way through. So I have it, but that's about as far, you know, like I've sort of like dropped in on occasion and watched a little bit of little bits, you know. So what's special on Legend M is we have Shine. That's the main thing, really, that we didn't have before.
No, I guess if you're going to quantify it with the things we didn't have before.
I didn't actually go to see like which songs were left out of the digest, but Shine definitely was. That was the one everybody was waiting for.
Right.
The one sets came with audio CDs, and they're good. I'm pleased with them. I've listened to them a couple times, even though I haven't watched the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good quality. Well mixed. Yes.
One thing that it came up, I think it was actually just in the other Discord, at the beginning of Legend M, there is, well, okay, at the beginning of each of these shows, there's a little narration, and Sue does the narration for the Sun Also Rises one, the Yokohama show. But Moa does the narration for Legend M. And it starts off something like, you know, in the year 1999, in the 7th month, from the sky will come a great king of terror, this kind of thing. You may recall this. I think this was probably even on the digest.
Yes.
I did not know until today that this is practically verbatim from a writing of Nostradamus.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Huh. I would have had no clue.
Yeah. So, and what's cool about it is it's like it's a prediction of Nostradamus's about July 1999. You know, so
what?
I mean, it's the actual thing translated is something like the year 1999, 7th month, from the sky will come a great king of terror to bring back to life the great king of Angomwai. Before after Mars to reign by good luck. Okay, so what Koba did, found something that had to do with July 1999, changed
plugged it in there,
Angomwai to Angel Moa, and then used it. It's totally wonderful.
I would have loved to have been in the room when he was Googling things to use for that, because I bet that search history is really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I mean, like when I first heard it, I just figured, you know, whatever. This is just, you know, I always think of it as lore shaped. You know, it's kind of like whatever. It sounds like dramatic and nonsensical, and who knows actually how long he had this ready. I mean, like July 1999, it was known that was going to be relevant for years.
Yeah, kept that in the back pocket for a little bit.
But anyway, I was very impressed by that. So now I kind of want to see what kind of research went into any of the other stuff.
I know. That's wild.
But let's see. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if we actually want to talk. Maybe we can talk next time if we think it is worth it about kind of like reviewing the show. You know, I don't feel like I'm super well versed in it in either of the two, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, you two get smart on it, and I'll tell you if you're correct or not.
Sounds good.
It sounds excellent. But you can see, I mean, like at least one thing that, you know, everybody was waiting for in Shine was to see Moa working on the guitar.
Yeah, the real version of Shine.
Yeah. And I think it was kind of interesting, you know, so I haven't analyzed it super carefully, but you can sort of see, what Moa is doing on the guitar. Like it's tuned. You can see that it is tuned in such a way that she only needs to bar the chord, right? Like it's because there's only basically one chord that's sliding up and down.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty good. There's discussions that we can all have about like which part of the audio track she has contributed to. But my own guess is that her guitar was actually making noise, and it's just, you know, it's just kind of overlaid on there's two guitars that we can hear, hers and another. But
well, the guitar is definitely making noise. You can see the strings being strummed and they are vibrating. Ergo, the guitar is making noise.
Oh, like if you were standing with your ear on
if you were
it,
standing there, you would definitely hear it. It's hard to say definitively what we're hearing as the audience. Yeah.
So maybe I'll say this point, I guess, which is just that we have no reason to believe that the audio is unmonkeyed with, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it might well be touched up in various ways, but nevertheless, I mean, like, you know, we know what the rhythm is on that guitar, and there is a little bit of a quick spot that Moa does not do.
Yeah.
But I still think that I think she's accompanying it still.
I think so too. Garrett, have you watched it?
I've seen the fan cams when it first came out.
Saw the fan cams.
And I tried to argue that she wasn't, but after not being able to see good footage, I can't really put too hard of a foot down.
I'd be really curious what your opinion is after you get a chance to see the HD version, because you play guitar and you're a musician. Yeah. I'd love to hear that perspective.
From what I remember of the fan cams, I felt that it wasn't played live, but after hearing you guys' view on it, of it being possible that she'll just borrowing chords already pre-tuned, that's totally possible and definitely easy to do. But I wouldn't surprise me if there was a backing track, and in addition, what she was playing was also probably monkeyed with a little bit.
Yeah,
it's conceivable. Yeah, she went back to the guitar too. That was something I did not realize.
Oh, really?
From the fan cams that she was in there the second time as well. So I think it's just the fan cam must have been looking somewhere else, because I think it was just dark. Like what I remember of the fan cam was that it was just dark and we couldn't see anything when that second guitar part was happening.
Sure.
So anyway, very cool. I'm looking forward to watching this in more detail. I don't know if there's anything else to say about this. Maybe next time we can talk about it, because more people will have it by then.
Good idea.
Another thing that's happening soon is that WoW will be broadcasting Legend Metal Galaxy. So April 12th.
Mark your calendars. That's one to tune into.
Yeah. 8 p.m. Japan time is April 12th. That's night one. And that is actually also the date that we intend to record the next episode of the podcast too. So hopefully next time we can have a little bit of a debrief on that as well.
More in-depth discussion over Metal Galaxy once everybody's gotten to see it.
So that's only night one. Night two, we have a date. I don't think we had a date last time we recorded, but it's May 17th, 8 p.m. So about a month apart.
Really making people wait.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And if there was any sort of service that you could get a month, like a month free or even just pay for a month, it won't work. It won't get you both.
Right. Hadn't you considered that?
That'd be the first pro shot footage of Night Night Burn and BMC to be released, unless they do something before then.
Was that night one?
BMC was night two.
Yeah.
Night Night Burn was night one, along with the other, the rest of disc one.
Yeah. Either way, we got a lot of fresh, never seen pro shots before coming up quick.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see if they cut what they cut.
Oh yeah,
because it's only
that is a good point.
They're only an hour, 50 minutes, something like that.
You said it's on WoW. They cut stuff up pretty common, right?
Yeah, they have to cut for time. So
yeah, and I don't think it's ever been the case that they have WoW has played exactly what's going to be on the thing you buy, right?
No.
So
Then why would you buy it?
yeah, that is the thing. Although I have always been annoyed by what they did with the Big Fox Festival, where you can't have the whole thing unless you have both the WoW and the Blu-ray.
Oh, right.
Because they were different songs. But and then, so you'd think, so what is it? It's April. What did I say it was? Today is the 5th. That puts it 4 days after Fox Day. We all know about Fox Day.
Yes.
Yes.
And we had intended to record a big, long, episode today.
Oh yeah.
About all the stuff that we learned.
All the
All will be revealed.
Yep. However, what we ended up with is a mini episode.
Yeah.
but let me just I'll mention a couple of the things that we got that happened on Fox Day, and then the topic for today is going to be basically the history of Fox Day, which is based largely on a post from BABYMetalNews.com. So, but okay, so what happened? One thing that happened, which is almost sort of like a, I don't know, bureaucratic thing, is that we got a countdown to the 1/20/20 membership starting. So on the one site, there's a little clock that's counting down to whatever it is. I don't even know, the 20th, something like that.
Something like that.
So it's basically when Metal Resistance episode X starts. 10, I guess. So, whatever. I guess it's sort of mildly interesting. There's not even much text there, and ultimately, this, there wasn't much surprise or anything there.
I was gonna say we didn't really gain anything from what we've gotten so far from Fox Day. That photo we received, a tweet.
Oh, I'm getting there. I'm working my way up slowly.
Working away there. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, but on the one site there is at least a message from the Fox God that says, "It's been about 10 years since Baby Metal, which continued to run on a boundless road. Metal Resistance celebrates its final chapter, Chapter 10. Are you ready to headbang? When the bell of fate echoes with the countdown of doomsday, we become the one." And then whatever that's gonna. So we'll see what happens on the 20th when the actual episode 10 starts. But presumably it's gonna be, here's something you can buy.
Probably.
Legend Metal Galaxy.
Could be.
I hope so. Yeah. It's got to be actually fairly close to ready if WoW is going to be producing it. I mean, like once we get past May 17th, then we know at least a large chunk of the video is mostly ready.
Mm-hmm.
And May 17th is actually just after the forum is released. So that's possible. Anyway, I think the countdown felt like it was automatic. Like it didn't really feel like that we were given very much. That just happened. I think that happened, at the strike of midnight in 2019 as well.
Right.
Probably before too. And we got okay. So now we can talk about the teaser. Garrett, you wanted to continue talking about that?
Yeah, I was going to start, but I kind of jumped ahead a little bit because I thought you were leading into that and I misread the conversation a little bit. Basically, it's a photo with all the previous episodes' logos embroidered and stitched in the background, with 4 of the new logos in the north, south, east, and west positions, with all of the other ones and various other positions around the picture. Inside the photo, there's like no real other information. The photo reads 10 Baby Metal Years, October 2020, Metal Resistance Episode X, and that is it. That's all the information we get from this Fox Day tweet.
Mm-hmm.
I can do me to go through each of the individual logos, but it goes through every single episode we've been through, 1 to 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found that actually. I was puzzling over that a little bit.
I was wondering if they could be teasing some kind of theme that connected all of the episodes that we somehow missed, or what. Or maybe it was just like a happy anniversary saying, "Hey, look what we've done so far. Here's the next one. Now wait."
Yeah, I mean, I think on the Baby Metal news page, there's a kind of a rendition of this with all the logos kind of like actually extracted so that you can see them better.
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that they didn't make the logos easy to see. They had to be somewhat cryptic.
Yeah. So I recognize a lot of the logos. You can see Legend M. You can see the Chosen 7 era. You can see the Yokohama show, right? The sun also rises, episode 8. So Legend M, I think, was by itself episode 9. The Sun Also Rises, and then stuff after Legend M is this episode 8 one. There's the episode 7 with the Chosen 7. I'm going to get in trouble here because I can't count back accurately, but I can see Legend S in the middle, and I can see Budokan in the lower right, and I can see the Tokyo Dome in the lower left. I'm not actually sure what the status is of the other three. So in the upper right corner, there's a triangle that I associate with Trilogy. It looks like the little triangle in the Trilogy box, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then just in the lower left of the Legend S logo, there's the ticking clock from the beginning of the Trilogy videos. So I don't understand like what the Trilogy is. And I also don't know where the logo is that's to the lower right of Legend S. It's on the shirt, I think. But like I don't feel like there's a very good one-to-one correlation between these logos and things. But have you guys figured that out, or has anyone thought about it?
I've thought about it a little bit, but I haven't figured it out. Like, I think it was naturally assumed that they were from each of the episodes, but it could very well mean something totally different that's just going right over our heads.
Well, I think it's definitely all of the episodes. I recognize all of them, but the one you pointed out.
Yeah, and I feel like I've seen them all. It's not that they're all logos that they've used. It's just that I'm not sure that I know the episode numbers correspond to them, just because it seems weird to me that there are two from Trilogy, and I didn't think that was two different episodes. So, but it might be just all the logos they had around. I mean, like, it could be that this isn't worth thinking that deeply about. It's like, yeah. These are the logos in the logo folder. We need 9 so that we can get to 10. But
have you guys looked into like the background of the photo or what those two images are behind all the logos? It almost looks like a shadowy figure and then one's inverted, if that makes any sense. Like somebody wearing a cloak on the right-hand side and then the same person wearing a cloak is upside down on the left-hand side, or am I just seeing things?
I've heard people say that. I have not seen this myself. I mean, like, I know what you're talking about, but it looks much more regular than a cloak would. It doesn't look like it's folding like cloth.
Yeah. And cloak being a vague term, more of like a hooded figure.
I think it's more like a cloud. Everybody sees it differently.
Is it blue or black? Or
right. But I think, yeah, I mean, when I first looked at it, it looked to me like it was sort of a piece of kind of like an infinity symbol. Sort of like a 3D infinity torus or something. But, it's quite possible that it's whatever the intern decided would look cool. So the tweet itself, I mean, I think it showed up, it probably showed up online and, other platforms as well. But on the tweet, the hashtags were BABYMETAL, Fox Day, Metal Resistance X, and Stay Home. So I guess they're sort of acknowledging this time in the world.
Yeah.
We were expecting, with reasonable reason, at least as far as like what they told us, we were kind of expecting to be told about what was happening in October. And this is all we have. I mean, maybe I don't know how much to read into Stay Home. Don't buy a plane ticket.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to read into that. It was trending on Twitter and has been trending on Twitter since most of the world is in quarantine. I think they were just hopping on the bandwagon.
Okay, so you don't think that it's, at least not intentionally at this moment, suggesting a virtual event or something that you would not need to travel to?
See,
no, I don't think so. I think they were just hopping on one of the highest trending hashtags on Twitter.
I think it's almost too early to speculate that far into it, but I think that they are weighing their options because they've already had to cancel a lot of their shows for the rest of the year. I think maybe them being cryptic about on Fox Day and not giving it as much information as we were led to believe that we would get might be them backtracking, saying, hold on, we might just need to slow the roll a little bit before we get ahead of ourselves and announce a show we can't perform.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm almost positive. I mean, like, that's got to be what happened. I mean, like, we can't blame them for not knowing what's going to be possible in October. Even though it's a quite different situation. I mean, the Olympics were postponed a whole year. And this is later, but I mean, it's not, October's sooner than you think. Particularly if it's going to take, a couple more months to kind of like get back to some sort of normal world, right? So
yeah, I was really hoping to get to book travel. That was really what I was looking forward to. Having firm dates would have been really nice. But of course I understand, and I think everybody's right. I think everybody's probably correctly speculated that we didn't get what we were supposed to get because of what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, it seems to me like we could believe them if they said there's not going to be a concert. We could not believe them if they said there's going to be a concert. I mean, like, because it's quite possibly not under their control. So the only real like serious or like actual news we could get from them is it's not happening. So
Right.
I would just as soon not get that. But and I no matter what, I'm fairly confident that we are going to have something happen in October.
Yeah, I think it's just going to depend heavily on what's going on in the world, and that's going to play a large part in what that something is going to be.
I mean, I suppose it's conceivable to have a live viewing without an actual audience. It would be pretty terrible to perform that way, but I mean, people are probably starting to get used to that. So
Performing for a live stream, I think that'd be cool. I'd enjoy seeing that.
yeah, although I mean, like imagining that being in the on the performer side, I mean, it would be hard to distinguish that from a rehearsal, you know?
Yeah, it would be.
And it would be hard to get like the energy from the audience.
It would be, but at least they would at least know that they're performing for their fans and I'm sure they would have an actual accurate number and how many people are actually watching their every move.
Yeah, right. Maybe we could set up a few different cameras and kind
Maybe
of roll like a doll or something over the top of it to simulate a crowd surfing.
I feel like it's totally feasible for them, and I feel like they could totally knock it out of the park, but it'd be a new thing for them.
Yep. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. I am still feeling like we're gonna hear something at some point about like what they're planning, but my guess is that they did have a plan, and this is now either unlikely or impossible. And so now they need a new plan and they don't know what it is. And so they're not telling us because, nobody ever says, this is what we're thinking about. They say, this is what we're going to do. I don't think I want to have fans vote on what they should do.
That's not a great idea.
No.
Anyway, so I think that basically sums up Fox Day.
Yeah.
So we were hoping for more. The world did not cooperate. I believe that we will at some point hear something about what they've settled on to do, either because it's possible to do a show or some kind of gathering, or maybe that they're deciding to postpone. Although I think postponing an anniversary is a little weird. So maybe there's going to be something virtual. It's hard to know.
Yeah.
I think we'll hear though at some point. I haven't given up hope, but I think I don't have a very good prediction as to when we will hear.
Right.
That's impossible to know with them.
Although it's impossible to know even with people who are less secretive.
Well, yeah, but they're kind of notorious at this point for saying they're going to give information and not. Feels like we're kind of down a couple points anyway in that realm of getting information anyway.
Yeah, although this is different, I think. Like before there was the thing like, we have a big revelation video and, and it tells you nothing, but at least, it was a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
At least still something.
It wasn't a stationary tweet. But anyway, this seems like we're sort of blending into, I guess we sort of went over the soon to be obsolete speculations about the future, and are about ready to talk about the history of Fox Day. Cause I think that's still interesting. For people who don't, either don't know about Fox Day or would like to be reminded of certain things. I know I'm slightly fuzzy on it. So there's a nice post on BABYMetalNews.com that sort of goes over this, and I think we'll sort of talk through that. Next time we're actually planning to have the curator of BABYMetalNews.com come and talk with us about it and the other sort of data projects that he's done.
Ooh, how exciting.
Yeah, that should be really interesting. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. But before that, there's this one to finish.
Don't get carried ahead.
Yeah. So I feel like I've been doing a lot of the talking. I can hand over the beginning of the history of Fox Day to someone else who wants it.
Okay, I'll take over the first half of it here.
Okay.
It all started in 2015, December, I believe, correct? December 2015. This was the first mention at the end of Night 2 of Baby Metal World Tour in Japan. The final chapter of Trilogy Yokohama, where they announced a video that the new album, not yet named but Metal Resistance, would be released on April 1st, Fox Day. Fast forward to Fox Day 2016, Metal Resistance was announced and released, as well as the announcement of Tokyo Dome that would be taking place later that year in September.
So that was a pretty big hype.
Oh yeah,
right.
Definitely.
That was,
I mean, like and I do sometimes forget about how not old this is. I mean, like this is, what is this, the 5th Fox Day or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
I mean, there aren't that many.
And it kind of feels like a yearly tradition by now, but in reality, it's only been, 5 years?
I'm trying to remember what I got. I got something that actually had a little flyer for the Tokyo Dome show and this little, the Fox Day graphic in it.
Tokyo Dome shows were one for the history books for sure. I remember whenever I first started getting into Baby Metal, like a couple years down the road, probably I'd say around 2017. I remember watching both nights of Tokyo Dome like 3 or 4 times within a week.
Mm-hmm.
For a while there. I think Legend of Metal Galaxy is going to replace it, but I think Tokyo Dome was my favorite for a long time. Fox Day 2017, they showed Legend IDZ, Legend 1999, and 1997 in theaters around Tokyo, and later continued on throughout Japan, including a special Tokyo Dome live viewing shown across 18 theaters in Japan on April 11th. There was 5 lottery winners from the one who were used to play a game called hide and seek. Each posted a little short message on their Twitter account, giving kind of a teaser of what was to come next. They were all found, and the info announced was the 5 Fox festivals, which each day of the 5 Fox festivals was a different theme. I think, help me fill these in, guys, but one was for the kids, one was for women only, one was face paint. Everybody in the crowd had to participate with these guidelines. Yeah,
and I think the one that was for the kids, it was like kids and senior citizens.
Yes,
both.
kids and
Okay,
senior
yeah.
citizens.
Yeah. I like that idea. You don't see it too often because their fan group of Baby Metal goes young and old, so it's nice to see them catering to all crowds.
It seems cool, but at the same time, one way to see that is like, here are some shows I can't go to.
Yeah.
2017 was my first Fox Day as a fan, and I remember going nuts with everybody trying to figure out what all these Twitter things meant leading up to figuring out the 5 Fox festivals.
That was pretty cool.
That was actually a pretty fun scavenger hunt.
Well, so was it the actual like lottery winners that tweeted on their own accounts?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
See, I didn't catch on to Fox Day. I was a fan of Baby Metal before then, but I didn't catch on to the theme of Fox Day until 2018 during that whole scavenger hunt.
But yeah, I think that's kind of neat how there was there's a puzzle to solve. There was a game to play.
Yeah. There was more substance to Fox Day than just a picture.
Yeah. And it also built up hype.
Yes, lots of hype. I remember that. Overwhelming amounts of hype.
Yeah. So
you mean in the next one in 2018?
Yeah, in 2018.
Yeah, so I dumped one of the tweets in our chat. We can put in our show notes and our comments below, so you can see what these people were doing.
Now,
And these were just out there, right, in the fan base. So you had to find them.
Oh, that's pretty evil. So it wasn't even like the official account retweeted them.
Correct.
No.
That's rough. All right. Yeah. So Fox Day 2018 was my first one, I think.
Mine too. I remember starting to see all the signs and joining the hunt for the cryptographers and everybody standing in their lines with notepads trying to figure it out. I don't think anybody got it right, did they?
Well, there's a good reason for that.
Yeah, that's a very good reason. Let's carry on. We'll stop teasing it.
Yeah. No, I think yeah, I mean, so Fox Day 2018 was my first one, and that, like I remember that they had a puzzle, so they posted basically sort of like an empty grid. It was sort of like an empty crossword puzzle, thing. It wasn't cross, there's two rows of letters. It was sort of clear that you were supposed to be filling in letters in those boxes, and I guess there was a live viewing of something. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but at those, at the various theaters that were showing this, they had people in little baby bones costumes holding up posters. They were like little signs that had letters in them inside the little, like the lower circle. And people were trying to like take down what those were. And before long, they actually started tweeting these out from the actual official account. And, so you would get a pair of letters in each tweet, and you try to figure out like, how they would fit in this thing. And, it was fun. It lasted for several days, so
Fun in the worst way.
Yeah. But I mean, it was like a little game, and it was building hype, keeping the attention.
Uh-huh.
I kind of wish that I was hoping that we would have something like that building up to this. But I think, even if something was planned, it got derailed early enough that they saw that it wasn't worth doing. But yeah, so eventually when you filled it all in, it said metal resistance, EP7, light and darkness. And then there's like a little lore circle. So the 7 takes one square. So VII all squashes into one square. EP takes one square for episode. So this is why like nobody could figure this out at all, because we didn't have, I don't think we had 7 and I don't think we had EP, but we had 2 boxes that we were trying to fill in. So ever since then, I've had this sort of like grouchy avatar in my, which is just the app in the box. But anyway, yeah.
It's like they designed the template for the answer without giving consideration to the number of squares they needed.
Right. But there is a brilliance to that too, because it does mean that nobody actually figures it out.
I guess.
But it also doesn't feel fair.
No, it doesn't.
So on Fox Day itself, did we get...
On 2018, they did a live viewing of Legend S. You mentioned a live viewing. They did Legend S in 2018. And then they announced the one Blu-ray for Legend S too.
Okay, so maybe that was the place where the little people were holding up their signs.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember people were collecting those.
Mm-hmm.
But did we also get the Revelation video that day?
We did. We definitely did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the video was uploaded on the first.
Okay, so that's cool. So yeah, and of course I'm sure like 90% of everybody listening to this remembers this, but it's called Metal Resistance Episode 7, The Revelation. And it talks about like how, all this stuff is going to be revealed. And then it's just a bunch of nonsense for however long. But I mean, although we were already sort of tuned toward like looking for lore and stuff like that. And so I think it's such a like a troll move. I mean, like he's really just poking everybody's fears. It's like, all right, well, we've got a whole bunch of unknown figures here. A lot of people were looking at this and thinking, oh, wait, does this mean there's going to be like 10 members now?
Mm-hmm.
Who are the chosen 7? What is happening? There are 10 people now.
Is it the girls plus Kami? What's going on?
Yeah.
Wait, but that doesn't add up.
Anyway, it was pitched as a revelation, but of course it was there's nothing substantive that you could actually take out of that as far as like, it's just a little bit of a lore movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought I enjoyed that. I mean, like I enjoyed Fox Day 2018. I enjoyed puzzling about the Revelation video and pish-poshing people who thought that this was now turning into an idol rotating group with 10 members or whatever. But
jeez.
But nevertheless, I mean, like, that Kobo's got to know that like people are a little worried about that, so he's got to feed it just a little.
Oh yeah. You can't just give us a straight answer.
So I guess that's probably 2019, Fox Day 2019. That was a lot of people were sort of tense about that.
Fan base as a whole was a little sensitive.
That whole time frame was the dark days.
Yeah. Well, and actually, come to think of it, I remember observing this before, but you can go back in our back episodes and hear what happened on Fox Day 2019 because we were already doing the podcast.
You can,
hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, I think the countdown clock, if I remember right, that came in right at the beginning, right when it turned April 1st in Japan. But then nothing happened and nothing happened and nothing happened. And it turned 11 p.m. in Japan before they tweeted anything, which is absurd.
I mean, at least it was a good announcement.
True. Yeah. So they said new album.
Yeah.
Which was not what we were expecting. I mean, like many people thought that it's got to be about time. But
I remember expecting if they were going to announce an album, I didn't think it was going to be in 2019. When I saw the announcement, I was surprised to see 2019. I thought it was going to be 2020.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was a pretty big deal, right? They they tell us new album next year. And they also let us know about the shows at Yokohama and Legend M, named Legend M.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was pretty amazing.
Ooh, I don't know if it's worth commenting on now, but on the photo it says BABYMETAL new album worldwide release 2019, and then to the right of 2019 it also says XXXX. If that's not foreshadowing to the next year or anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a ton of discussion about that.
Oh yeah,
like
so
what the
much
X stood for.
I mean, I think in hindsight they just didn't want to give us the month and day of the album release.
Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with October this year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a little hard to parse that into anything that you can turn into October 2020.
Right.
I mean, I guess if you add them all together, it's 40. There are two 20s.
Yeah.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Yeah.
It exists.
Yeah. That's kind of strange. So it says the hashtag Fox Day, hashtag new album 2019 XXXX.
Mhm.
Nice hashtag. Very catchy. Hashtag metal resistance VIII. So anyway, the one I was actually focusing on is hashtag newer A. What is that?
New
New
era.
era.
New era.
That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Newer A.
New and improved A.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like new Coke.
That's right. We want to go back to the classic A. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, I think it was Fox Day 2019 did turn out to be something, although there wasn't the same kind of like puzzly build up.
Yeah, there wasn't no build up. It was kind of a letdown, and then all of a sudden hype.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, once it got to be like, I don't know what, 2 a.m. in Japan, people are already like, this is stupid. Like nothing's happening today. 22 hours before the day ended, 21 hours before the thing actually was announced. But everybody's quick to despair. But of course, then Fox Day 2020 came around and we got a tweet like in the first minute, basically.
Mhm.
And then,
A countdown time.
you were correct to despair after that.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I missed the puzzle. So leading up to the Distortion release, there was a puzzle too, right? Like I think that's when it was when they had the little numbered cards.
Yes. And they did they released them on their like Instagram and Twitter, one every hour or something like that.
I think it was less frequent than that, but yeah.
Was it
I
less
think so.
frequent than that?
I think it was over 7 days.
Am I missing this completely?
Oh, maybe it was. Oh, maybe it was one a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds more correct.
So on the vinyl single of Distortion on the back, there's a bunch of sort of mostly I think monochrome images that are of the characters that are in the video, but they're sort of zoomed in weird ways. I mean, like there's there's little details of like pieces of their clothing or whatever, and those little things were turned into sort of cryptic cards that preceded our seeing the video.
Right.
So I guess that was before Kansas City then, right? I mean,
Yes.
that was back when everybody was all eager for puzzles and things.
Right.
I don't remember any of that stuff. I was out of town for like the week leading up to that to the Kansas City show when Distortion was released. So I don't remember any of that. Maybe it's just blanking my mind. And if I saw one, I'd remember it.
Yeah. Well, I think that, right. I mean, like it's in retrospect, like once you already have the announcement, then it's less interesting to go back and try to figure out what the things were.
Yeah,
because you can just see them in the video.
My memory is sitting in a car about to get a haircut and then getting on the Reddit to everybody spamming Distortion. That was my memory. I don't remember any build up to it.
Yeah. So there were those cards, and I think those were the only puzzles, but I definitely have this image of the group liking these little puzzles. So I hope that we will see some again.
Yeah, maybe they had some planned this week. Who knows? We will probably never know.
I would be totally curious to know what they were planning and why it didn't work and stuff. But, I can't imagine that there's any good reason at all for us to ever know that. I mean, like this is not in their interest at all to tell us.
Yeah,
So
we'll never
like,
know.
Oh, we were going to do this and this and this, but not to get your hopes up, but we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, maybe in 20 years when one of them writes a book.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I guess we'll see. I'm still, hoping that we'll get some kind of word from them. I know we were a little disappointed that we didn't get anything more than a tweet, even if it was just kind of like, stay safe, everyone. See you in a couple weeks
Yeah.
or something. But, they did say stay home. Hashtag wash your hands.
Hashtag wash your hands.
Anyway, yeah, I guess I don't think I have much more to say about this. Was there anything else you guys wanted to get in here?
Nope, I think that's about it.
Yeah, no, I think that covers Fox Day.
So far.
Yep. Well, and I mean, like, who knows? I think we were hoping that at least by now we would have some idea of what's going to happen
And
in November 2020. right?
Yeah.
Like, what is this group going to look like? But
Maybe before next
nobody
time we
knows.
record, we'll have a little bit more information to share.
maybe, yeah, maybe mid-April. Yeah, I can't. I mean, like, the thing is,
I can't imagine.
there's no date that has any significance coming up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, WoW is not going to announce it.
Yeah,
Right?
I think at the soonest summer sometime,
Yeah.
once the world starts to trend to normal again.
This year, whack.
But I mean, I do think that they can't possibly let October 2020 go by without acknowledging it. I mean, like, even if nothing, no people can travel to see a thing at that point.
Right.
That's still the actual, what they're saying at least is their 10-year anniversary. So I think there's maybe some debate about it maybe being November, not October, but at any rate, I think the first show was in November.
Well, they can celebrate their anniversary whenever they want.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, and presumably they were practicing before the first show. So
Yeah,
anyway, okay. So I think then we can just leave it at that.
I think so.
Just sort of a short episode, but not as short as we thought it was going to be, actually.
No.
So next time we are going to talk with Faku about what is, like the sort of stuff that he's done for kind of collecting and disseminating the data behind, the performances and so forth. And he's running the Baby Metal news site, which has been actually very useful and is worth checking out if you haven't checked it out. So we'll talk with him next time, and we will have seen the first night, I think, of Legend Metal Galaxy on WoW. So we'll hopefully have something we can talk about there, and maybe even we can talk a little about Legend M and The Sun Also Rises. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Excellent. So that's it for this episode. You can join us on the Baby Metal Podcast Discord to continue the conversation. Rating the podcast on whatever platform you listen on will help people find it, so please do that. We'll be back here in a week, and we hope you'll join us then. And until then, see you.